Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Views back at you this evening with a special examination. We're doing any barrel aged porter stout, kind of a spur of the moment thing. So if anybody in the chat would like to join, just let me know and I can send you a link if you don't already have access to it. Let's go ahead and get right into these wonderful beers that we're drinking this evening. I'll let you start, Michael. What beer are you going to
Okay, this is
drink?
from 6 Point, and it's called Black is Beautiful. It was a collaboration with Weathered Souls, and this one was produced on 3/7/21, so it's already over a year and a half in the can.
Wow. All
14% double oaked imperial stout aged on vanilla beans. John, you've had it twice.
That's the one. Yeah, awesome, awesome beer. So we'll see if the aging has affected it any now that it's got a little bit more age to it. All right, and I've got one that's not been aged any more than it already has been by the brewer, but as far as shelf life, it was just released on Black Friday officially this year. This is the Bourbon County 2022, but this is not the original. This is the coffee variant. As you can see, it's a lot pricier than the original. $24.95 for this bottle. 13.2% alcohol. It's made with Intelligentsia Burundi Turahamwe coffee beans. So, all right. Let's go ahead and pour these things up.
This is the first time I've ever seen it reviewed by somebody I know. I saw that group did it. You know, the one I told you about did all
right.
seven.
Well, and they've had other years of coffee versions, but this is the first year that they're using this particular coffee bean, I suppose.
Are you going to pour yours now?
Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll both pour them up and get into it.
Okay. Here we go. I've had mine out for a while, too, because it seems like you get better taste out of it if you let it pre-warm. No, it's looking pretty good.
Well, there's mine. It does have a little, I would say a half finger beige head, but it's dissipating pretty quickly.
And you notice how fast mine is on its way out, but it does have a small tan head. Is yours full of coffee aroma?
It smells, it does have some nice coffee aroma, but it's not over the top. You know what it smells like? It smells a lot like the one that we had a couple years ago that had coffee in it. I think it was the 14 brand stout, which had coffee and vanilla beans in it. This one has a similar aroma to that. You're definitely getting the coffee, but it's got like a sweet caramel and like a vanilla aroma coming across. I think the vanilla is probably just from the barrel aging because this one doesn't have vanilla added to it. It just has the coffee in there.
No, mine is aged on vanilla beans, and you're getting a combination of that vanilla combined with the bourbon barrel on the nose on this one. And like I say, the year and a half in the bottle probably should help it, I guess. We'll find out as we go.
Yeah, this one smells a lot like a Founder's CBS, actually. It's got that sweet aroma, almost like maple-like with the aroma a little bit, but the coffee is there and the barrel presence is there. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Founder's CBS from the aroma, but smells really good. It doesn't smell boozy like it's 13.2%, but you definitely can pick up on the barrel notes. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and start tasting these things? And
just ready. You want to go first? You want me to go first? Or we should go simultaneously? Okay.
We'll just go back and forth. It's just, yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, John.
Oh. Yeah. It's a lot like the 14 brand one that we had. Maybe just a touch more coffee. It does have caramel, the vanilla and the bourbon barrel. Those oak notes are coming through. Not so much dark fruit and tobacco with this one, I think, because the coffee is kind of masking those flavors.
So you're getting the barrel.
But definitely getting the barrel. This is why, it's always tough for me. I mean, every year I'm going to buy all the different variants that I can find at least once. But I can already tell you that at $24.95 for a bottle of this, it has less alcohol than the original, and it has the coffee kind of takes over some of the palate, and so you don't get as much complexity. It's like, why would you buy one of all the different variants and then just buy a bunch of the original? Because you can't go wrong with the original, and it's half the price.
Right, and the original's over 14% again, right? 14.4.
It's 14.3 this year. Yeah.
Okay. And the one you're having now is 13 point what?
This is 13.2. This one. Miscellaneous. I just got home. So yeah, if you want to join and you have a barrel-aged porter stout, hop on. Feel free to hop on.
Tell him I have room here to put him in my sheet.
Michael's got room to put you in his book. And cheers to the Sueys in the chat. We got Thrash Life.
I mean, I'm impressed now, or I've been drinking. You know, if you remember, I bought a case of these, so I had 24 of them, so I have plenty. But I'm impressed that the carbonation is holding up. That's what I worry about in these cans, if the carbonation is going to hold up. Because the beer itself is holding up, obviously. You can see the head is now down to just a little, very small head, but it's still a head. And a lot of vanilla, a lot of bourbon barrel. And it's definitely on the boozy side. So you can't say the 14% is totally covered up, but it's not straight booze. It's kind of like a combination kind of thing, but it's delicious.
Yeah, I remember it.
Do you remember it when you did try it the 2 times?
I remember it very well. I think, unfortunately, though, the videos we made on the Black is Beautiful were removed from YouTube. That was the
right. Well, that was thanks to Alex, the beer master, but
yeah.
That's life in the fast.
But I do remember those very well. The one that I don't remember very well is the Coquito Cowboy.
That was on your pre-flight check, and it didn't
that was
work
my
out well.
pre-flight. That was yeah.
No, look, you had a good flight, and you're living with Kate. Or you're not living with Kate, but you're dating Kate. So that's Bumpy. I didn't know he was going to come.
I didn't either.
Well, I didn't either. I didn't know this was happening until, like, it was.
I have room for Bumpy too.
We didn't. It wasn't a planned thing.
It was impromptu, Bumpy.
No, Bumpy.
I also lost my taste and stuff again, so it's starting to come back.
Oh,
so we'll see how well I can do.
All right.
I'm trying to find a glass right now. I guess I can use a Guinness glass.
We're hoping miscellaneous comes too, but we're not sure.
Well, he's definitely giving me a hard time for not.
I don't think he'll be coming.
Okay, because he was cursing at the beginning. So
hopefully I can get through this wax that's on this thing. It's got a nice kitty cat.
Bumpy, did John tell you he agreed with you on the Framingham beer, that he was not thrilled with the first one he tried?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was there when he tried it. He definitely wasn't thrilled. That's called the Mitts. Who makes that?
603 Brewery.
603.
Oh, Londonderry. Okay.
Yeah.
Neighbors to Pipe Dream out there in London.
What's the alcohol on it?
11.9.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah. 603. They have some okay beers, but I've had this one in the past. Oh, yeah. That is. They've gotten fancier with the way that they obviously have stamps and stuff now because they're doing that with the wax. But
I have some water here to kind of, since I know this is going to be consumed quickly.
If I've learned anything from John, it is to not cut towards yourself with sharp objects.
Yeah, I really screwed that up. It's still not 100%.
Well, at least by the time I get this open, it will give him the bottle time to warm up a little bit.
Down to the bone.
Screwdrivers work really nice for cutting into wax.
There you go. So yeah, while you're doing that, a little bit more about the Bourbon County. The coffee is definitely the star of the show with this one. I wouldn't buy this one again just because I'm not a huge coffee lover with these types of beers. I would much prefer to have the original and have the dark fruit and the barrel notes come through a little bit more. But the coffee flavor is on point. It's not off-putting or anything, and it is nicely balanced with the rest of the beer. It's just I would prefer one of the other variants or the original. But it reminds me a lot of I'm pretty sure it was a light blue label from 2020, 2021, the brand 14 Stout, and that one had coffee in it as well. It's not much different than that.
This is the first year, though, they've had an actual straight coffee where they've added it. That one was creating the taste from the hops, I think, and from.
Well, I think they put coffee in it, but they also added like coconut water, and there were a few.
There were
things
other additives in it as well.
So this is I think you're right. This is the first one that has just the coffee in there, and it's really good. If you're a big coffee person, I can see how you would just absolutely adore this beer. It's funny because the regular Bourbon County says develops up to 5 years, I believe, on the label. This one says up to 2 years. I guess because they figure the coffee is not going to last more than 2 years.
That's one of the items in beer, coffee, that does fade the fastest, it seems.
Right.
That's why they say 2 instead of 5. So, Bumpy, yours is similar to ours in that it has a small head. And
and what is, I'm sorry, it's the Mitts. What's the ABV on it?
11.9.
11.9. Okay.
Yeah, and this one's bourbon barrel aged. It poured very thin. It looks like a kind of a dirty brown, like a murky kind of brown was pouring, but it was very, very thin. It's got kind of a root beer coloration on the bottom of the reservoir, maybe a little bit of a kind of reddish hue over that root beer hue, but so a deep brown anyways. The head was very thin. It was kind of a khaki color. I can smell the bourbon notes, which is nice from afar because I haven't been getting a lot of bourbon notes on things lately. As I swirl this, I do notice there's some alcohol legs that do.
It's got that creamy effect too, almost like a nitrogen effect with the head there.
Yeah, and I poured it in a Guinness glass, so go figure.
There you go.
It's the glass, I swear. Yeah. Yeah, so big bourbon notes in this actually. For 603, it's got bourbon notes. Lots of like oaky, just like kind of like raisin, plum. Ooh, there a little bit of a singe on my nostrils there, so I think a little bit of booze. Some chocolate notes, roasted for sure. There's almost like a spice, like cinnamon or something. That could be coming from the bourbon barrel, I think. It's almost like a cinnamon nose to it. All right.
I have not had the Jack Daniel's Cinnamon Fire.
I have not either, but I've had Fireball, and I've heard that they're pretty much the same as far as flavor profile. Anyway, cheers, Bumpy.
Are you ready to hit it?
Should I dive in?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thin body. Not stout worthy for a body. But it does have some decent flavors. I'm getting a lot of like caramel, chocolate. There is a big bourbon note right up front too. There is that kind of oakiness. Now here's the problem with my taste buds not quite working. I think is I'm getting a lot of the tannins, and it's like exaggerated amount of tannin. Like it's same thing with like bitter beers. It's like I pick up on the bitterness, and it's not like giving me flavors. It's just more of a bitterness. But at least I can get some of the sweetness and stuff out of this too. There's a bit of a char.
Is the alcohol prominent, or is it just kind of a normal 12% type beer?
Yeah, I'd say the alcohol isn't like super prominent. It's noticeable. There is a little bit of a burn going down the throat, but there's not a lot of alcohol flavor notes. I did pick up a little bit of alcohol in the nostrils, but I do. It does have that bourbon flavor right up front, with the oakiness and a lot of like kind of raisin fig type notes. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, once I start getting that, it's like a tannin and a bitterness that I'm kind of left with, which I'm not sure how much that's just my palate right now versus what the beer actually would be, but there is a
You taste it bumpy as you are now, and that's just the way it is. Right. Because until you're back to 100%, your taste buds will do what they do. That's just
jeez, these comments tonight, I swear.
Are they being? I should turn mine on. Are they being meanies and weirdos?
Well, I don't know how to interpret some of this. When I was 17, I picked up a Prosty in Rochester. She used her teeth on me, so I smashed a Michelob bottle over her cranium.
Okay, so these people are doing jokes.
Yeah, I guess. Cheers to Mark A. He's from Canada, and he's a good supporter, and is I've actually seen Mark. I know he's a real person and not a troll.
And Drunken One said, "Yikes!"
Lake of Bays Brewery. Okay, I'm sure. Yeah, we can't get all of those Canadian brands down here in the States, Mark. So, yeah, I was gonna say on my Bourbon County, the more I sip on it, the more I'm picking up. Like I'm getting a little bit more of the bourbon barrel, but I'm starting to get a touch of dark fruit and a little bit of tobacco. But it takes a while to kind of get through that coffee aroma and flavor to detect that. So I'm going to just stick by what I said earlier and say that although this is an excellent beer, I'd much rather pay half the price, get more alcohol and more flavors from the original that doesn't have everything masked by the strong coffee note. But
and that's always what people do say about the variants, that unless you really like the lead flavor of the variant, why would you pay half again the price of the product?
Right.
Get it.
The one that I really would, I mean, it sounds like an amazing flavor combo, is the graham cracker and fig one. Because I love Fig Newtons.
That's Sir Isaac. Sir Isaac.
Sir Isaac's, yeah. That sounds, right up my alley. But and they have a biscotti one as well.
Bumpy, if you didn't see this, this is a 2021 Black is Beautiful from 6 Point. So that's what I'm having, which is a 14% double oaked imperial stout aged on vanilla beans. And it's held up well considering it's going on. It'll be 2 years next March. It's a year and a half, a little over a year and a half right now. It was brewed in March of 21.
Cheers to Beer Man in the chat.
But it's maintaining its really strong vanilla presence.
That sounds good. I never tried one of those.
Do you remember? So I remember when I had it, Michael, it was a lot less aged. And I remember the vanilla was like one of the lead flavors. Has the vanilla kind of faded a little bit to and given way to the bourbon barrel a little bit more? Or
vanilla is still really strong.
It's still strong.
I guess the vanilla beans must have had a strong effect.
It almost had like a borderline, like from what I recall, like a vanilla extract type thing where it was so strong with the vanilla that you almost saw maybe they put in like some vanilla extract and didn't just use the bean. But not that was a bad thing, but I do remember it being very, very heavy with the vanilla.
Well, it might be a little less vanilla than when it was new, but it's still fairly strong, and you're still getting the really bourbon barrel effect on it too.
Yeah.
And I guess for 14%, it is toned down a little bit. You could think it was 12 or 11, maybe. You wouldn't think it's necessarily 14, but it's certainly, you took a sip of this, you wouldn't say it's session. You can tell that there's action going on. And John, you gave me one from, I'm not sure what brewer, that was a vanilla one that was 13.9. Do you remember which one you sent me from Georgia?
Um,
These people are acting weird tonight.
these comments tonight.
It's really strange.
So the Bourbon County I sent you.
It wasn't Bourbon County. It was a Georgia brewery that was 13.9. Vanilla. Do you remember
the red wax seal?
I can't remember, but it was a can.
Oh, it was a can. Oh, geez.
I still have it, so I can go look. Well, I may have it. Let's see if I have it written down on my sheet. I might have it. I have it. BFS bourbon barrel with vanilla. Do you remember it?
The big effing stout from yeah, right. That was 14% with vanilla. Yeah, it was very similar to the.
Is that similar to the Black is Beautiful?
I remember it being very similar. It was the same ABV, and it had the vanilla in there, barrel aged. I'm pretty sure it was from Scofflaw Brewing Company out of Atlanta.
Okay, so I'm gonna have that at some point soon because I've been sitting on that too.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay, so you still haven't had it?
Never had it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna. I think that'll probably. Yeah, that's probably aged very well. Yeah, but very similar to the Black is Beautiful.
You could just get that in Georgia because it was 13.9, right on the edge.
Right at the edge of legality.
It's Riff Rangers getting into the action tonight. I don't know. Maybe he's in a good mood.
Yeah. Tommy Carroll says he admires Bumpy Road. He drinks through the pain. Yeah, glad you're here, Bumpy. And
Bumpy is committed.
You're committed to get through this cold and taste as much beer as you can.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It was that's the thing. Is like I don't know if it was COVID again or if it was the flu. This one felt more like the flu, but it went by so quick. It was basically Tuesday night. Really started feeling I got the headache, all the problems like that. Slept for 13 hours. Got up Wednesday. Finally broke my fever. Was feeling a little bit better, but still had some of the aches and kind of felt crappy this morning. But feeling pretty much normal now. But the problem
it could also be the flu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking it was more flu-like than when I had COVID. But I did lose my sense of smell a little bit and taste.
I had the same thing last week. I missed Friday. And I think it was Friday night into Saturday. Couldn't smell or taste anything. Which is weird because when I had COVID, I never lost my sense of smell or taste. But anyway, okay. So let's. I know Michael, you're on a time constraint here, so we don't want to go too long. We'll get back around.
We still have 20 minutes. That's a lot of time.
Oh, do it. Okay. I didn't. So. It sounds like we're all kind of enjoying our beers.
Let's get Alex up here. You can start giving shout outs.
We'll do half an hour of shout outs and then we'll go back around. And so I will say for mine, I think I'm ready to give it a rating, but I can hold off for a few more minutes and just kind of go through the whole price scheme with Bourbon County and just don't, unless you just absolutely love coffee, don't waste your money on this. Buy two of the regular Bourbon Counties. They're going to have more complexity, more alcohol, and you're going to get a lot more flavor because the coffee is not going to be there to kind of mask some of the barrel notes. But I do like this. I would love to try their. I think they did another wheat wine or barley. Maybe it was a barley wine this year. I've only had one of their. It was a 2020, I believe, wheat wine, yellow label wheat wine. Got it down in Louisiana when I was visiting Mr. Terrio. It's like 15.2% alcohol, out of this world. And their barley wine I've always wanted to try, but they do like different. They did the caramel apple one, I think 2 years ago. They've got one this year. I can't think of the name of it, but it may just be called barley wine.
How much was the straight stout this year that you bought?
So it actually went up here in my area, but I watched Ron Terrio's review earlier, and he paid $11.99, I think, for it. But up here this year, it was actually, you know what? I'm going to give you It's in the fridge. It's got the price on it. It was at least $1 more though.
Mine is supposed to be coming into my food co-op. I know it's available at Whole Foods now. I could have bought it before, but I'm waiting because we usually get a better price at the food co-op.
Okay, so I think they were $12.99 last year up here. This one is $13.95.
So it went up $2 by inflation.
Yeah,
more than anything else, I think.
So not the best deal, but you know you're at least going to be getting your money's worth with the standard. And this one is 14.3. So this is the first year. There's been a 14.6. There's been 14.7. There's been years where you have the 14.7 and the 15.2. Last year, I was able to get the standard in Georgia. It was 14.0, so right at the cutoff. So this one is interesting just by the fact that it's a completely different ABV than the other years. So it could be, it's uncharted territory. So I'm very excited to try this year's version. Oh, and they used 4 different bourbon barrels this year to age it in. They used, Heaven Hill.
One with the roses is in this one.
4 Roses, Heaven Hill, Buffalo Trace, and one other one I can't think of off the top of my head. But it's actually, I looked at the website. They list them all on the website this year. So there's 4 different barrels that they cuvee, blend the Bourbon County in, and that alone is very intriguing because these aren't cheap bourbons. They're Buffalo Trace is excellent. 4 Roses is excellent. Heaven Hill makes some really good stuff, even though they're probably just using their standard, cheap their base expression for the Bourbon County. It's still a very reputable brand. So, all right. So yeah.
Bumpy, have you tried any of the Bourbon County yet?
Are we talking about this year's?
Yeah, 22.
Yes.
You mean that I went to store to store to store, everything was sold out 10 minutes after they opened? Yeah, no.
Wow.
I know that there's some
Seriously?
stupid store back there that they got to have stuff hidden in the back room and they're just waiting.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, John, when you walked out before, the co-op is supposed to get it either this week or next because they've had it at Whole Foods. I could buy it, but I'm thinking the co-op could be $2 cheaper. So I want to see what the price is first.
What have you seen in the world of variants this year, if any?
I think the only ones that are showing up, and like I said, Giant Space Monkey was able to get the one with the Fig Newton,
the
Sir Isaac, and the one that you had, the Coffee Stout, has been here, and the main one. I haven't seen the barley wine so far, but that doesn't mean it might not.
I would love to get my hands on that just to.
We're not going to get the proprietors only comes to Chicago, so that won't be here. That's another one this year. Yeah. As far as the Biscotti one goes, who knows? I haven't seen it yet.
You can buy 4 packs of Bourbon County this year in 12-ounce bottles. I sent you the picture yesterday, Michael, and I saw the 4-pack at the at Colonial Spirits the other day, and it's got a white label. They're 12-ounce bottles.
But they're pricier than the original if you figure out the ounces.
I don't know. It didn't have the price on it, and I saw the price on this. I was like, let me just buy a single first before I even, because I didn't want to carry the 4-pack up there. Like, that'll be $60. Like, okay.
See, when Bourbon County comes out, you're willing to spend a little bit more money because you do it every year, so it's not shocking to your right. Hopefully, you have the money to be able to afford it. Otherwise, because I'll mention it to Audrey, I'm getting Bourbon County, and she says, why is that better than anything else? She's had it before, but I mean, you wonder, some people like the founder stuff. Some people like I just think it's a higher level. I really find it to be.
I do too. Mark says, you guys always talk of this magical Bourbon County. Is it really like crack and that good? So, Mark, I would say that, you really got to try it yourself, but if you like barrel-aged stouts, then it really doesn't get much better than Bourbon County. So I would say, yes, it is like crack, and it is that good.
No, you want to know something that's like crack? Boom Chicka popcorn. They're sweet and salty kettle corn. Holy crap.
Jeez.
Stuff's addictive.
Yeah.
That actually sounds good.
I got a big bag of it. So good.
I'm not a big popcorn guy. I can't get over the texture and the getting the kernel stuck in my teeth and all
Well, it's
that.
supposed to be like low calories, the thing, you know, but then it's like it tastes so good, you just keep eating
So
it.
you just eat an
it's
entire like 5-pound bag of it, and it kind of defeats the purpose of
No, but you say how good it is as it goes down. I mean, it's really
Right.
like popcorn. I like popcorn.
All right. So
Okay, so
what are we
before
thinking,
we give our
Michael?
numbers, I still have 13 minutes. It's a lot of time when you.
Oh yeah, well we
I'm-
both got.
I'm only on time constraint because John got back later because he was coming back a little bit later, not sure that I was going to do it, so that's why. I had an hour and a half, which was a lot of time, but whatever.
I only have time constraints because of you.
You can stay on with John and talk after I leave too, so it's not like.
I think he means because there was virtually no notice.
John wasn't sure it was going to happen until the last minute, I guess is what it came down.
Some people get so worked up. It's like it's not like I intentionally like I don't know what you want. I can't always give you.
And certainly when you get on, you don't say, "Hey, this can exclude miscellaneous because we're doing it fast." That's not fair.
No. He's just giving me a hard time because he probably has.
He
something
does.
That he could.
He actually just drank one tonight too.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he was ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, he did his show that he had planned.
Oh, he did his regular show.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he did. Yeah. See, I didn't see any of that. Did he drink a Bourbon County on his show?
No, he had Prairie Artisanal.
Oh, okay.
And it was some stout that was like holy adjunct laden.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to give my score first?
Sure. Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
98.
98. Yeah. So you would say that falls into your world class.
This is just below my top end.
Okay.
I do give 99. So it's not
Right.
a 99, it's a 98, but it's held up well too. And it makes me happy because I have more of it. So I know that I can enjoy this further as we go on, which is a
Nice.
I'm a 6-point person in that I give them credit, but we're going to have to be watching them over time with this artisanal ventures to see if their quality does stay up based on what they've done in the past. Because remember now, when this was still done, it was already artisanal ventures, but we don't know what's happening with the regular line, and we have to watch it more carefully over time to see, I guess, before you score. And I don't know. But there's more money involved in what they're doing, which I guess can't hurt.
And you have, where you live in Brooklyn, you can walk to the Artisanal Ventures. Isn't it Artisanal Ventures, or where you can get 6-point Victory and
Southern Tier
and Southern Tier,
some of it on tap, which is really great.
Right.
That's good. Now, this only sad point is because it was early before we could get into the darker stuff. It was almost all IPA stuff, and I have nothing against that. It's just that, as we've discussed, John, on our past times we've talked about it, I want to have some stouts there all the time, and it's not the way it works out. They're going to the mass market, and IPAs are bigger until you get deeper into the winter, it seems, anyway.
Riff, unfortunately, Ron Terrio will not be joining us. It's past his bedtime. I would be shocked if he was not in bed.
But Riff Ranger has enough good comments that Ron would get a kick out of them.
Ron, yeah. Although this one, Riff, is a little disturbing. I don't know how you know what sweaty dog testicles taste like in the first place, but anyway, if you're drinking Bourbon County and it tastes like sweaty dog balls, and it's not Bourbon County. There's no way. It's been tampered with.
So, John, have you formulated your number on this coffee variant?
I have. It's still going to be up there. My world-class ratings are 98, 99, 100. I'm going to drop it just below that at a 97. Not because I'm not a huge coffee fan, but because I feel like the coffee detracts from the overall experience because it minimizes the dark fruit. It minimizes some of the malt character, and it masks some of the barrel aging notes, the vanilla, the woody, oaky quality. they're still there, and the tobacco as well, which is really key in Bourbon County. That's why one of the reasons I love Bourbon County so much is because it's one of the few barrel-aged stouts where that sweet tobacco note really is prevalent and comes through nicely on all of their standard variants. So that is kind of missing as well because of the coffee. And it's twice the price. The price doesn't come into play when I'm rating a beer, but moving forward, there's no way I would buy this again when I can get the regular Bourbon County for half the price. So yeah, 97 out of 100, just under world class, but it's an outstanding barrel-aged stout with great coffee notes. It's just, not my personal. It's personal preference. I think it comes down to for me more than anything. But it's still awesome. I would recommend trying it once if you like the Bourbon County lineup, like we all do. It's worth trying once, but it's just if they knock the price back to the regular cost of the other Bourbon County, it would be a lot more worth it than it is.
It's not their price style to kick the variance down.
Right. Well, you know what though? The cola one that I bought last year, and they still have it available at Lincoln Liquors down the road. They're still selling that one for $18.99 a bottle. So some of the variants are a little bit cheaper. For whatever reason, this is the most expensive bottle of Bourbon County I've ever bought.
It's the first time they've had a straight coffee variant.
Yeah, I don't know. It could just be the cost of the coffee because it's made with this fancy Intelligentsia Burundi Tura Hamwe coffee beans. It could be because of that. But anyway, yeah, I love Bourbon County. This one's no exception, but I'm missing some of the date fig, the dark fruit, and the tobacco, and the barrel notes are just minimized because there's so much coffee. And coffee, as we all know, is such a strong flavor. When you add it to a stout, the ratio has to be perfect. Otherwise, you start covering up good flavor, and then you miss out on it. So anyway, I've blabbed on long enough. So Bumpy,
you want to give me your number?
Well, first, how much time do you have left?
7 minutes.
We're good.
All right. So check out this. All right. The mitts. It's a cat, and he's in a tuxedo. Yeah. And he tells a little story. Bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout.
Here, I can.
In my younger years, I was a farm kitty down in Kentucky. When I was mousing for vermin, I'd lend a paw to the local bourbon distillery, selecting only the finest U.S.-grown barley and corn for our mashes to age in freshly charred American oak barrels. Since then, bourbon barrels have become a must when aging my imperial stout. Signed, Mitzi. So they've gone bonkers, and they have a cat as like the actual spokesperson for the beer. So, anyways, yeah, some of my gripes with this beer are going to be the body. It's way too thin. I don't think that, even though it does have a few notes of the malt that are pretty nice with the chocolate, the kind of roast, the roast does kind of carry through to the finish too. It does have some raisiny, like plum-like notes. The barrel is surprisingly actually present as well. It's kind of present in the way that the barrel's present in what is that? The dragon milk.
The one that you hate so much, the New Holland dragon milk.
Yeah. But it's got like almost the same thin body, it's like thin, it's liquid watery. It's just not, it's like the Imperial Stout itself kind of already lends to letting down the barrel aging of this for some reason. But now some of this may be contributed to the way that I'm picking up on flavors, so that the aftertaste to me, damn it, is where it kind of gets a little bit kind of really unpleasant. Damn, with the tannin notes and that kind of bitterness actually really kicking in. But I'm gonna give this a 39 out of 50 for what I'm kind of tasting now, which puts it in the good category.
How do you normalize the 39 in the 100-point scale?
I don't know. I don't know where that really lands.
You can't just double it and say 78. It doesn't
Yeah, because
work.
it doesn't quite add up. Because I noticed that with so basically, if this was like an untapped, I could say it was a 3.9 out of 5. But if you notice, if you do Beer Advocate, they'll have like the untapped scores, but then they'll do like their 100 score too, and it never equals out. It's always the 100 score is always higher, a bit higher than what it would equal out to if you just doubled up the numbers. So
do you think when you normalize it would be like a B plus, about an 85 or a B? Where would you put it?
yeah, I think it'd be right in a B range.
Okay, because I'm putting it in as an 85. Is that fair?
Yeah, that would be fair.
Okay. See, it's funny, John. You have to normalize the score, because if you don't normalize the score with his 50-point thing, it's not fair to the beer.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Like you punish the beer because he's doing it on the half thing, and there's always an upward surge in the way it's scored on the 100-point scale.
Well, and the way he does it too, when he's like 39, which falls into the good. Anytime you say good, you say average, that's C. If you say, when you start saying good, that's in the B range. Then you just have to try to figure out if it's a high, middle, low, mid.
Yeah,
high.
low, well, that's the thing, is like the lower, like 36 to 40 is good for me. So the lower 36 is kind of more like, that's like C minus maybe. But I also have 5 different. I have pour, which is basically like drain pour this, drinkable, good, very good, and then excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I have just 2 minutes left, so can I take some of the 2 minutes to say?
Yes, you could take the rest of it.
Okay, so you guys, have you had stuff from Wanakee Brewing? Ron's shown some stuff, I think. It's both in Wisconsin and in Canada. It's a weird company. They do all kinds of stuff. And earlier today, my friend who lives in Western Connecticut went to an Aldi, and I said, send me pictures of everything that's there. Most of it was just their normal stuff, which I don't like. They got a bunch of lagers and they have the brand 1839 Holland lager and a bunch of stuff. And I'm not hostile to it. I'm just not going to buy it. And she shows me a thing. It's a barrel-aged stout. It's from Wanakee Brewing, which is in Wisconsin and in Canada. And it's a 4-pack with everything, in other words, with the tax and everything, for $12.75. So a 4-pack for $12.75 in 12-ounce bottles at 11% ABV. I said buy it, because I really don't care. I mean, I hope it's good. I have no idea to know what the quality level is going to be of it. I'm hoping it's really good, but we have to wait to try it to find out. So she's going to bring that back when she comes back on Saturday.
The one in your last tasting, you didn't have you had the Lidl brand, that Craft Explorers. They make a lot of really good stuff. The only time I ever had any of their lineup was when I went to North Carolina. I went to Lidl's there
with William Kepley.
William Kepley. And I got the Craft Explorers, their stout, coconut stout, which was really good. A couple, they had a variety pack with like a pistachio ale in there that was really good. Like some unique and interesting products. And you're looking at like the single bomber bottles of the stouts are like $4, and you can buy the mixed, the variety pack 12 packs for like $9.99. So you're not going to get a better bang for your buck.
They had both a hazelnut and a coconut one. I'll save one of the coconut ones for you whenever we do get together. So you want to take one of those back with you for sure. Whatever. I have to leave because I made a previous engagement. But
we'll just close it out here and then go off air. Everybody does shout out.
It's great that you came on.
Yeah, but okay, that's not me. Anyway, all right. So thanks to Michael Kormroff and thanks to Bumpy for joining kind of last minute. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Had a great, albeit unusual chat tonight.
So we still love you.
We still love you, Miscellaneous. He's not watching anymore, but
Well, we love him anyway. He might watch the
we-
playback.
he might. We do love you, Miscellaneous. We love the drunken one. All the guys in the chat tonight, Beer Man, and we'll see you soon. So that'll do it for this live impromptu examination of barrel aged porter stouts. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you right here all in the next one, whenever that may be.
Enjoy.
Until then, cheers, everybody.